Okay, POE, for the test bed that we are making, we have to make sure in RobotC that our motors and sensors are set up correctly. So click on the motor and sensor setup button and we'll get a whole bunch of different options up here. The only things that we're going to mess with right now are the motors, so the motors tab, the VEX 2.0 analog sensors, and the VEX Cortex digital sensors. We'll do the motors first. And I'm going to look over here at the setup, and it looks like port 1 is going to be called flashlight. So I'm going to call this flashlight. And I'm just going to keep everything lowercase. I'm not going to add any capital letters because I don't know, it's just easier for me. If you add them, you'll have to use those as variables later on. And then for the type, click VEX flashlight. In the second spot, we're going to put right motor. I'm going to just type it in. And for the VEX thing, I'm going to type in, or I'm going to select the VEX 393 motor. Those are the kind that we have. And for the next one, and we don't need to worry about reversing it or having an encoder port yet. The next one is the left motor, which I'm going to just call left motor. And that is also a VEX 393 motor. And down here at the bottom on port 9, we're going to have a servo motor. And I'm going to call that one the 3-wire servo. And then that looks good. So now we're going to go over to the analog sensors. And for analog, in the top one, we need to put line follower. And the sensor type, we're going to put line follower. And for input 2, we're going to put potentiometer. Got to make sure that you actually spell that one right. And then for the setup, potentiometer. In the third one, call it light sensor. And in the third one, light sensor. And for the analog, those are the only 3 that we need. For digital, over here on this side, looks like we need a limit switch. And we're going to call that, let's see here, where's our limit switch? I don't see a limit switch on here. So if there's not a limit switch, which one of these could actually be the one that we're doing? So I believe that this one is a touch. And the bump switch, got to spell it right. We're going to call this one also touch. For digital 3, now the limit switch and the bump switch, just remember they've got like a 1 and a 0. You're either hitting it or you're not hitting it. So that's why we're calling those touch sensors. For digital 3, we're going to use encoder. This is the rotation sensor. So this one is encoder and encoder. So you only have to type this in once. You don't have to type it in twice. And we're going to select quadrature encoder. This is the rotation sensor. So it's going to be the first port and the second port. It's actually going to take up 2 wire slots in the Cortex. For the fifth one, we're going to call it ultrasonic. And this one also takes up 2 ports. So if we select the ultrasonic sonar, and let's go ahead and let's put this in centimeters, because that gives us a little bit more ability to move the object back and forth. Inches is kind of a big unit for our sonar sensors, so I'm going to just use centimeters. For the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, we're not going to have anything. At the bottom, we're going to put in green LED. And that type of sensor is going to be a VEX LED. And from there, we should have all of our sensors set up. Hit apply or OK. And then what you'll see is all of the different setups will automatically add themselves in to the code so that all of your sensors are initialized and ready to go. So whenever we start to type in code down here at the bottom, we'll know that these things are actually set up for us. So like for example, if we wanted to actually like identify or call the line follower, we're going to use this word line follower right here. If we want to identify the LED or call the LED, then we're going to use green LED. So we're going to use all of these different things in order to write them inside of our program. And you can see here in the comments that it says that the code was automatically generated. That's because, you know, we didn't actually type this in. So this is how we're actually going to set our stuff up in RobotC. Now, from now on, after you hit save, so I would actually go File, Save As, and I would name this a build plate template, and then I'm going to hit save, because then I can always just add other stuff along with it. So let's see here. I do definitely want to save in the documents folder. And there we go. Make sure you actually know where you're saving it. I'm saving it to this PC and documents. You can make your own personal folder for it, as long as you just keep saving it to the same spot. It'll be okay. Just keep in mind that you remember where you actually saved this. All right. So have a great day, and we'll talk later.